Jay,
Hey,
what's up?
Joe,
How you doing?
doing great. How are you?
Very good. Did you find your luggage?
On the last day, I located it near the airport and we just drove there in an Uber and I fetched it myself.
Oh man, thank God for those air tags, right?
I rarely check a bag, but I
Yeah.
won't ever check a bag without one again.
I loved your writing through the trip. A year ago, my wife and I did London and Edinburgh, kind of like you did, and we lost our luggage at Heathrow, and we didn't have it for you. You lost it longer. We didn't. We went 3 days without it, and they couldn't find it. And never checking a bag for the history of my life ever again. Never.
So you were part of the first domino, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was
And
great.
what was your experience? What'd you think?
That was fantastic. I love like the time block aspect of it. I love how you systematically walk through things where you quickly keep your commitment. Like it's like before you turn your phone on, you have to realize what your goals are. And like you have to have it in your schedule and you have to respect your schedule. Like what you say yes to, you say no to everything else. And you got to say no to things. And I love the way you guys walked through that domino. It was great. It was one of the best programs I took in a long time.
Well, good. I saw you on that screen. I was like, you've been following us a long time. So you're going to have kind of a nuance. Like, I like this or I didn't like this. So I appreciate the review.
The material was great. Your stuff is just so rock solid and it's so based on reality. And to see what you guys done there at KW, like it's just you can't dispute the effectiveness of the systems you guys teach and preach.
Well, that's lovely to hear. Thank you. I appreciate the appraisal.
No,
And
absolutely. I have quite a few people that are in the real estate market that follow the podcast that send me notes and stuff. What you're teaching in the first year, I think is applicable to any sales career. And I think everyone's in sales.
I
Like,
agree with that.
yeah, you
That's,
could.
that's what I also think about our book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Mhm.
The only caveat I would put on it, if you're selling services, right? There are people that are in product sales, and it's probably 70% applicable, but a product business runs a little different than a service business. So I
Mhm.
feel like both books are very appropriate for people who are building a service-based business as a solo new person or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm ready to
Okay.
go wherever you want to go.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Here we go. Jay, I appreciate you. Jay Papasan, welcome back to Built Not Born.
Thanks for having me, man. Is
It's,
this our third go around or just the second? I feel like it's our third
it's
time.
the third. You have tied Seth Godin and Guy Kawasaki and Donald Robertson, who wrote the How to Think Like a Roman Emperor. You guys are all in the three podcast group. I appreciate you.
Esteemed company,
Oh, that's
esteemed
awesome.
company.
You
Thank
guys,
you.
you guys are all ballers. For anyone looking to just to learn a little bit more about Jay, I'll link the other two episodes in the show notes. We did one on the One Thing, Jay's epic book he wrote with KW's founder Gary Keller, one of my favorite books of all time. Shout out the page. What's that page? 114.
Yeah, the seven circles.
That's it. And then we think like a CEO. Jay does an amazing podcast where he covers just leadership, tactics, secrets, strategies with Gary Keller on the One Thing. You took that podcast back over, didn't you, recently?
So we paused it. There was a lot of transition. And it's funny enough, Gary and I met today, and he was pitching me on how to relaunch a new episode and restart that. And I'm like, I love it. Like I that's one I wasn't going to do without him, and he's ready to pick up the microphone and do it again.
Oh, that's great. Looking forward to that. But why we're here today is your new book coming out in the second week of September, maybe?
September 9th.
Yep, the rookie real estate agent. First off, thanks for the advanced copy. Really good. Excellent.
Thank you.
Let's just jump right into it. You wrote maybe 20 years ago, I don't know, you co-wrote The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right?
Right.
So you co-wrote that. From your perspective, what's the biggest shift you've seen a new real estate agent has to do now compared to 20 years ago? What stayed the same and what's different?
So, like you brought it together really well. So we actually maybe 6, 7 years ago, we were going back and we still do interviews with millionaire agents. Like, what are you doing? What are your numbers? We look at their budgets. Like we dissect their business. When they agree to an interview, it's an interrogation, and we get to see their P&Ls. And I remember going with the team. I said, I feel like we're missing a piece of the puzzle around the first 12 months of someone's career. And we started asking, we did it with over 250 really, really great agents, many of whom had been rookie of the year. And we asked the question, what did you do your first year that others don't? And it's their answers to that singular question that kind of gave birth to this book. So it's a combination. Honestly, it's 90% of what they did is still the fundamentals that probably would have worked in 2003 when we were publishing The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's just now we have technology, we have social media, we have more enlightened tools and ways to do things. So we can do it all more effectively and efficiently than we used to be able to do. Like people used to think about marketing and advertising, they were buying signs on buses and
Mhm.
sending postcards to a farm. Now we can do digital marketing and build newsletters and really have a much more advanced, I think, more effective way to build an audience for our business.
Yeah, you open the book up. What I love, having a little poodle ourselves, you open up with the Tao of Taco, right?
Yeah.
And how his behavior is like a success blueprint.
Yeah. It's like you're always connecting.
Yep.
My dog, he's not a dog that scares people away. He's someone who will sniff you in impertinent places because he wants to be friends, right? Um, he kind of like he's a weird dog and that he grooms himself. And my point there is that you don't have to look like $1 million, but you have to look like a professional. The key to success in the sales industry is people want to work with people they know, like, and trust.
Mhm.
And the trust factor begins with first impressions. I have a friend that works up in the Pacific Northwest. He's like, man, if I show up in a BMW in a suit, they might pull out a shotgun, right? They think I'm there to like buy their house or do something fishy, but like I show up in a North Face jacket and I've got a client for life. And Austin, it could be, Italian leather shoes or it could be flip-flops. We're a weird town that you never know what's going to show up. But like Atlanta, Georgia, man, you might be a little preppy. You're going to wear your like, what is professional where you are? And I think Taco kind of does that. I might have stretched that one a little bit if I'm honest. They're always looking for opportunity. I see this with my wife, Wendy.
Yep.
She's probably in the top 200 real estate agents in the world with her team, Papasan Properties Group. And we could be anywhere. And if there is a real estate conversation happening within earshot, it's like, doot, 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 doot. She is tuning in and offering to help. And that's my dog. Like he's a
Yeah.
hunting dog. I don't know if you know Brittany's. Do you know Brittany's?
I know what they look like. I never had one.
Yeah, they're bird dogs.
Yeah.
So like they see the right kind of bird, they're like frozen in place and they ain't moving until you call them off.
Yeah. You got the paw up, the pointing. And
Yeah.
then you mentioned tools and all the cool stuff we have on social
Yeah.
media. And one of the line I wrote down after I read the Tao Taco, you wrote, focus is a superpower.
You got it.
And then how hard is it or easy is it to get distracted with busy work? And I'll connect something that you wrote, what I really love this week or a few weeks back about the busyness. You talked about like, I'm going to be unkind to you in this post and I'm going to tell you busy, you're a mess. You talked about busy and you kind of came at people a little bit. How does a new real estate agent who just got started know they're being impactful, not just busy? Is that fair?
No, it's a more nuanced question, so let me think about it a little bit. But you look up, and I think fundamentally it's just to find the difference between busyness and productivity. Activity is activity. Like a lot of busyness is performative.
Mhm.
I was reading that it used to be that leisure was a sign of wealth, and now people look at someone's crowded schedule as a sign of success. There was a really funny article that said an immigrant had come to the United States and he thought that busy meant good because every time he asked people, how are you today? They would say busy. And he just assumed it meant because they said it with a smile. They thought that meant. So a lot of us became successful because we're doers.
Mhm.
And so we index on the absence of anything to do. We're going to just do more, 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 more. That is a lot of activity, a lot of energy. But if it's not directed, it's not productive.
Yeah.
So I love hustle, but I adore people who can direct all of that energy at things that actually matter. So for a new agent, it's only a handful of things. They have to understand the market. They have to understand the business that they're engaged to deliver service in. Like, do they understand legally what they can and can't do to service people to help them buy and sell homes? And they have to do the number one activity for growing any business, which is they have to go out and market and prospect to get new clients.
Mhm.
And what I see is a lot of people who run out and they hustle and they will show you they've spent 3 weeks on their business plan. Look at this really cool website that they've built. They've got the most amazing and genius business cards you'll ever see. That's all noise. That's all noise.
Yep.
Most people, when they start this industry, if they have to go full time, they need to be closing transactions in 45 to 90 days to have any chance of success. They got to start getting income.
Yep.
And in real estate, what you're doing today at best will pay you 90 days later.
Mhm.
There is a real delay between the work you do and the time that you actually get money.
Mhm.
And so, without delay, how fast can we get people, new agents, new salespeople in any industry where they're going to be an entrepreneur and self-employed into income producing activities?
Yep.
So, for a new agent, like, I don't know what's what. Well, have you talked to people about buying and selling real estate today? If the answer is no, you probably weren't productive today.
Yep.
If the activity you were doing, all that planning, an open house, that's great. You did it. Did you talk to anyone? Did you knock on the doors around the house and meet the neighbors? Like, everything you do is an opportunity to offer your services. You just got to tell people, hey, my name's Jay. I'm a part of the Papasan's Properties Group in Austin, Texas. I would love to help you. Do you have any real estate needs? And it feels weird. It feels obnoxious, but like, you'd be surprised how like people would be like, I don't need anything today, but thanks for letting me know.
Mhm.
Like, people aren't going to slap you or spray you with mace.
Yeah, 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 sure. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
if they don't know, they will never ask you.
Yeah, you have to ask. You have to have the courage to ask. And you make a bold claim in the book about, you talked about the database. You said your database is your business, and you mentioned around 200 people in your database is the
Yeah.
magic number. How
That's
can
from our own proprietary
Really?
research.
Okay, wow, that's a good. So, and you're saying out of the 200, just if I got the date or a couple facts down, out of the 200, you say about 6, 7% transact a year. Is that fair?
About 6.5% on average.
Okay, so you're saying if you have 200 people in your database, say 6% transact, what's that, like 18? I don't know if I do my math right. I don't know.
Well, it's going to be, yeah,
12,
it'll
12.
be, yeah, 12, 13 if you have the fractions round up.
Okay.
Now, if you know 200 people and 13 of them are going to transact, how many are going to transact with you?
Yeah. Great question. That's the million-dollar
So,
question.
right, like, so are you talking to them regularly? Do they already have a real estate agent? So, most of what happens in the database is you've got 200 people, and on a 10-year timeline, 65% of them will transact.
Hmm.
65% of people will own a home. That's just, God, it's been around for 30 years. I've seen that stat. It changes by 1 or 2 percentage points, but that's it.
Hmm.
That's where that comes from. So over a 10-year timeline, if they already own a home, they're highly like 80% likely to sell it and move up or move down, right? There's a transaction on it. So the long game is, am I talking to all 200 of them? Because of the 13 they're going to buy or sell this year, maybe I get four. But of the 13 that will buy and sell next year, maybe I get four. And right, I'm building this reliable base of business.
Hmm.
And in the process, they're going, man, Joe was awesome. I'm going to send him my neighbor.
Yep.
So the database is just your place to purposefully be cultivating that business. We use it like a garden metaphor.
Yep.
You're going to plant a garden, you want to have a harvest, you got to weed it,
Yep.
you've got to water it, got to fertilize it. And most people's database is just their phone or a spreadsheet, and they don't touch it until people reach out to them.
Yeah.
So these agents that know that this is my business,
Hmm.
they are looking at that every single day. They are touching those people in a regular way.
So it just think as and just in sales, my sales brain goes, if I have a database of 200, maybe I'm starting like a blog and maybe sending one weekly blog, a short one that I'm writing that's providing some value of the local market. Maybe it's a quick podcast talking about maybe having a buyer or seller on or talking about real estate ideas or how to decorate a new home. Like I'm either doing a podcast, a blog, some sort of value that's 5, 10 minutes long that I'm sending out for free to that database. And I'm hoping the open rate's 50, 60%. Hopefully you have them want to sign up for it.
One
Something like
that's
that, right?
small, you hope. Like
Yeah.
the normal benchmark for open rates is about 40%.
40. Okay. Gotcha.
But the bigger it gets, the more likely it is to go
Yeah.
down.
Sure.
But
Sure.
like if you're really, really purposeful, you can keep it in the 60s
Hmm.
for a very long time. So
Gotcha.
like I've grown the 20 percenter to like 13,000 now, and we still have about 65% open rates.
That's excellent. And the 20% that is an excellent. I look forward to that. That's one I look forward to. It's such a great, it's just such a great reset on just business, life, marketing, like productivity. Really good. So I appreciate that.
Thank
And,
you. But
and
the point being, I'm a writer though. So
yeah,
you're going to do the things with your database
yeah,
that reflect who you are,
yep,
right? Because those are the things that you'll
mhm,
keep doing. So,
yeah,
like, you're doing a podcast. I love to write a newsletter. I also do a podcast, but I love writing the newsletter.
yeah,
Like, I could tell you, whatever it is, you don't want to go more than about 10 days over the
mhm,
course of the year without some meaningful segment of your database hearing from you. So you're not going to necessarily write, like most agents will do a monthly newsletter, like the state of the market. Let me
mhm,
tell you what's happening in Austin, Texas, or wherever they are. That's normal. And people pay attention if they're really nerding out about it, or if they're starting to think about buying or selling. But there's lots of ways to connect with people. Like here's a quick formula for you that maybe just a good formula for anybody that's in any kind of sales role. If you think about two things we anchor hard on, could I talk to these people 4 times a year? And if you work your way through 2 letters of the alphabet every week, right? So I'm going to call everybody whose last name starts with an A and B this week. You'll go through every quarter, everybody in your database, and some you'll get and have a quick conversation, and some you'll leave a message. The people who do that methodically, no emails, anything else matters, but they're just reaching out, making a TCPA compliant. I have to say that call because these people haven't been on the no call list saying, hey, this is Jay. Hey, this is Joe. Just checking in. I don't know if you remember, but I got my real estate license, or I don't know if you remember, I sell refrigerators. I don't need to remember. I'm in software, whatever that is, your value proposition. You're reminding them, asking if you can help.
mhm,
And then I usually say go from professional to personal because then you can say, well, great. I was on your Facebook page. How are the kids?
mhm,
I like that better. And I teach that because people who start off as saying, hey, how are the kids? And then say, oh, by the way, do you
mhm.
have any real estate needs? How does that call feel afterwards?
Yeah, yeah. It feels
It makes the
disingenuous. Yeah,
it makes the personal stuff feel disingenuous. But
yeah,
if you just flip the order, hey, I'm calling for business. Hey, now that that's done, tell me about life. How are you doing, buddy?
mhm,
You finish on the personal, it feels very different. The
yeah,
other hack, throw 3 or 4 events a year. If you throw an event saying, we're doing a happy hour, we're going to talk about investing. Oh, we're doing a first time homebuyer seminar. Who do you know that's thinking about buying their first home? And it's an event. Maybe you're offering a free cocktail. Maybe you're offering good information, but you're calling to give them something of value. You can get 4 touches out of every event.
mhm,
4, because you'll call them and say, save the date, or you'll send them an email, save the date, and then you'll remind them it's next week. Have you RSVP'd?
mhm.
You can do a day of, it's today, don't forget. And then the most important one that I hear people, you call them and say, it was so great seeing you. But the most important touch around events is, hey, Joe, I know you heard about it. We were doing this event, for whatever, fill in the blank, right? Home buying, investing, whatever. And I hate that we missed you this time. I hope to see you next time. When people find out that they were missed, it is the most impactful sales touch we can make because we all want to believe that people, even when we weren't there, were wishing we were. And I've heard that from again and again. So, an event for everybody you invite, you can then manufacture 4 different connection points. And that's just a lot of
Wow.
energy where they're never going to forget what you do.
I did not see the miss thing coming. But if they didn't go, you call them and say you missed them at the event. That's outstanding. That's really good.
Well, it's so different.
Yeah,
Like
it's
most people
different.
talk about
Yeah.
it was so great seeing you last
Yes.
night, but calling and saying, "Oh man, I hate that we missed you last night." That's just a very
Yeah.
different call.
It is. That's really good. There's a couple notes here. You opened the book. So there's some really like eye-opening statistics. I love the part of the, I think you wrote about the myth understandings.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that rookies, even before they start, kind of get them in trouble. If you could think of a myth that gets a rookie real estate agent in trouble early on, what would it be?
I think the mistake they make, and this is like a myth understanding, is kind of the way we talk about it, is this idea. It's kind of either a myth or a misunderstanding. That's the two words that we cramp together.
Mhm.
They don't treat it like a business early enough.
Yep.
They think this is my side hustle. This is my hobby. This is whatever. And they're kind of afraid of actually treating it like a business. But the moment you think of it like, nope, this is my business, you start doing things differently. And I just can't tell you out of the 200 and something interviews, I bet 150 of them said either they did and they were happy they did, or they didn't and they regretted it later. So that's probably numero uno is they failed to see their sales practice as a business right from the beginning.
Hmm. Yeah. If someone's listening to this and they want to have an honest assessment with themselves, how can they decide if this is their primary business or it's a side hustle that they thought was their primary business?
If it's a hobby, it's a hobby.
Mm.
But if you're going to do work, you either better love it and hopefully you also have goals. Like I know some people that are perpetual part-timers. I don't spend a lot of time with them, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't I think it's fine, but that's not where my curiosity lies. So I find the biggest group, maybe people you're listening, is how do I know when it's okay to go all in? And so it's a bit of a math problem and a bit of a feel problem. If you're doing the fundamentals of reaching a building and reaching out to your database, that tends to be the most predictable business. You look up, I connected with my database 30 times this year. And out of that, I yielded this many pieces of direct business and this many referrals.
Mm.
Referrals in our industry are really magical. Like that's where a huge percentage, about 40% of all transactions happen by referral. So I'm getting two kinds of business from this database. I can look up and start building a budget around that.
Mm.
Because all I have to do now is I've got to repeat what were the connection points, the activities I did with my database that yielded that much business. There'll always be a little luck, good and bad. But I'm like, I can repeat those actions. And now my database is bigger. I can assume that I'm going to get slightly better results and better results. I think you have to look up and see the path to replacing the income. Like what I don't like is some people just have to, they can't do it part time.
Yeah.
So they have to save up money. And I usually tell them you need 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
So be lean and be
Hmm.
focused on earning income early. The good news is in real estate is that when you earn money, it can often be in large chunks.
Hmm.
So, but getting those closings and having a pipeline of future closings, as soon as you have that, be all in because there's no one we really profile in these books that's a part-time agent.
Yeah. It
What
doesn't
they've
work.
done is they've built a really huge business. Now they've hired out all the jobs. And if they're working part-time, it's because the other people are doing the jobs and they're paying them to do them.
Yeah. And it goes back to focus is a superpower. You got to focus. You have to focus on to make it your main business and you have to go all in and it has to be your number one work priority, correct?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that if you always make leads, right? Do I
Mm.
have enough leads to hit my goals? If that's the thing that drives all of your activity, doesn't mean you spend 100% of your time on it.
Mm.
But if you don't have enough leads to hit your goals, there is no other priority in
Yep.
business.
Yep. Say you have someone listening right now, just got their license. Maybe they have 5 grand in the bank, nowhere near the 9 months they need. They maybe know 50 people, and they're 90 days away from not paying their car payment. What's Monday morning look like for them? Like if you're them, like you're writing a script, say, all right, here's 3 things. Here's something you got to do Monday morning. What's that rookie do?
There's going to be a little bit of a nuanced answer. Like you're in the corner. Oh,
More of the
I'm
corner.
asking, what's my fastest path to relief? And I've literally coached people with like, is it time? Because based on their history, they've gotten there. Does that mean that they're actually not willing or capable of doing what they need to do, or they just get unlucky? But like usually I'm going to tell them, if you're not doing the things that you need to do on your own, you either need to go someplace where you're doing a job description, like
Mm,
you're working for someone else, or you're an entrepreneur on someone else's team.
yep.
So the fastest path to income in our industry, if you're really in a pinch, would be to go join a team.
Yep.
Because like my wife, I mean, her database, she's sold 4,000 homes now. So she got 4,000 past clients
Wow.
and the thousands of people that they're marketing to. So there's just a velocity of business that becomes available to you in that setting. So even if you're earning less per transaction, you'll have more transactions if you're doing the right things. And some people need to be on a team or they won't do it. They
Yeah.
need witnesses.
Yeah.
I get
Absolutely.
it. So did I answer your question?
Absolutely. And that was
Okay.
kind of like person in the corner there too. From reading the book and hearing you speak, and this is in my medical sales world too. It's all about the 2 feet between you and the customer. You, like you say, it's all about the database. Like you have to be speaking to people about what you do and selling them on what you do, right? Are you speaking to someone that has a chance of saying yes to you?
Yeah, you got to be in the path of
Yeah,
people who are likely transactions. That's
likely.
why people go, "Oh, I'm too old to do open houses." I'm like, "No. The only people who show up at open houses are people who either want to buy or sell a house, or they're really a nosy neighbor and they
Yeah,
probably know who is going to sell their house."
yeah, the noisy
So
neighbors.
if you go wander around the mall with a sign that says I sell real estate, you might bump into someone. How do you get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers? So that
Yep.
is true. You just said like between you and being able to make your mortgage payment,
Yeah.
which is a higher level
Yeah.
of like urgency. We had an agent on our team. Her name was Jen, and it was getting to the end of the year. She wanted to hit a goal. She had a very specific number. And this is one of those people that did what you said. This wasn't about being able to pay the mortgage. It was about her hitting a very personal goal, and she was going to reward herself if she got there. She started calling through her database, and she was looking for one thing: cash buyers. And she said, I've found 5 deals. I need cash buyers because this is the cash deal. Why does she want that? Cash deals can close in 30 days. So to get the deals done, like, so
Yeah.
crazily enough, Jen hit the goal.
Wow.
She was extraordinary. She did everything that possible to find the most motivated people that were able not just to close, but close in 30 days or less
Yep.
so that they could get the investment property they needed and she could hit her goals.
Oh, that's great.
Now, that's an extreme example. And she was about 3 years into the business, but like I think she made 100 grand her first year. This is one of those people that just wasn't unafraid to do the job, and she
Mm.
came in and did it, and she made a lot of money fast.
That's fantastic. And you spoke about open houses. You have a great chapter on how to conduct an epic open house. Any tips that walk someone through maybe creative ways? And you mentioned how open houses can be like lead generation machines.
I think first off is don't turn your nose up at it. A lot of
Mm.
people say open houses are for new agents. I know the woman we interviewed to get the best, Jen Davis. She is the only agent I know that on the buyer side, I think she closed over 160 transactions in 1 year as a buyer's agent, which is insane if you understand our industry. To do that many transactions as a solo, working with buyers, which is the hardest side of the business to work. And she's the one who perfected the model. But I think the principles to apply, you need to pick a house that people actually want to see in a part of town that there's traffic in. A lot of times people won't do a lot. All you have to do is call a listing agent saying, Hey, Joe, my name's Jay. I see you've got a listing in Hollow Meadow. Are you holding it out open this weekend? And this is weird in real estate. If you're in the same brokerage, this is normal. Would you like me to hold it open for you? So it doesn't have to be your listing. It has to just be someone in your larger brokerage. You call, you ask, and you get a house, but it needs to be a house that's worth marketing. And then a lot of people will spend 45 minutes preparing to sit in an open house for 4 hours. And a lot of other people will go and say, I'm going to spend 4 days marketing it so I have more traffic in 45 minutes than everybody else will have all week. So the goal is like you pick it early, you spend the week marketing it, you put out a lot of signage. It's an attractive house that people are at least curious about. And now you've got people coming in the door. There was a famous guy we talked to. He would literally do like 4 hours of lead gen, like at a really high level to a big database. And every weekend he would do open houses and he had a waiting list to get in the door.
That's great.
And he just knew how to create a lot of energy. And what do you think those buyers are thinking when there's a lot of other buyers at the same place?
Yeah.
Wow, this house is going to go fast. It creates this sense of social proof that this house is worth looking at. So the better you are at getting people there in a shorter period of time, shorter is not just so that you have a bigger, like you want them to be there at the same time because that creates energy that makes
Yep.
the house more attractive. So I could go on and on. We devote a whole chapter
Yep.
to it, but we did it. It's one of the few prospecting opportunities where you get face to face with people that are likely to buy or sell, but you can also market it.
Yeah.
You get all the marketing energy of putting out web ads, you go on social media, you put signs in the yard, you get a lot of bang for your buck with an open house.
Yeah, and that energy is transferable. You feel it, it's real. Like that energy is that's great. Wrapping up here with the book, just I want to tie the one thing into the rookie real estate agent. Like the one thing's all about like your singular focus, right? Like what's the one thing I can do to make everything else easier or unnecessary? And then the real estate world, you got multiple things you got to do. You got the database, you got the open houses, you have your marketing, your advertising. How can a real estate agent find their one thing?
So I think just to make sure if someone's not as familiar as you are with the book, we all have multiple things we have to do. But at any given moment in time, any hour of the day, we shouldn't be dividing our focus. The point is, do I know what I need to focus on today or this hour today? So we put a calendar in there and there's about 4 or 5 sides of your business. There's the lead gen,
Mhm.
there's the practice and researching. Like, am I practicing so that I understand how to have conversations with people? Am I having conversations with people? Am I studying the market? And am I actually showing buyers and working with sellers? There's not a million things to do, but there's about 6 big areas. And we kind of show them throughout the week. Like your morning should be about practicing role play and making sure you understand the market. You're preparing to have powerful conversations, and then you need to go have those conversations.
Yep.
That's the first half of every day. The other half is when you service those conversations. Great, let's go look at the house. Great, let's talk about listing your house. Let's talk about negotiating this offer, whatever that is. But you need to divide your time between, first and foremost, things that build your business, your book of business, and then servicing it. And
Mhm.
a lot of times, new agents, the first thing they do, they get that business, they go all in on servicing it, right? It's brand new, it's maybe a little scary. And then they spend 30 days working with this client, and then they look up and they have no other business, and it start all the way over from scratch.
Mhm.
And we used to call that the real estate roller coaster. And
Yeah.
every salesperson in the industry has filled that. If you put all of your energy into servicing the one customer you have, you won't have a next customer.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And then I love it's multiple things. When you're home, your one thing's this. When you're at work, your one thing's this. When you're at the gym, your one thing's this. It's usually pull-ups for me. You know what I mean? So
Which is
shortest.
amazing. And I'm learning. I've been practicing. It's all about the grip.
It's the shortest. If you go to the gym in January, the shortest weight in the gym is always the pull-up bar. The treadmills and you can't find one. You can't find an elliptical machine. Pull-up bar is lonely. You can find it, no problem. Hey, just
Because
transfer
very
over.
few people can do it, man.
It's no joke. Hey, just wrapping up here. A couple fun rapid fire questions for you. Stole some of these from Tim Ferriss. Some of these I made up myself just to get to know you a little bit more as a person.
Yeah, you go for it.
Here we go. So Jay, what purchase of $100 or less has most positively impacted your life?
Oh gosh. I bought a $5 spiky ball on Amazon for my dog, and it's the only toy he wants to play with right now.
It's awesome.
That's the first thing I thought about.
That's perfect.
And I had to buy I bought two, but you have to buy the right size for their mouth. So the
Yeah,
2.5 inch, I think it's like gnarly dog or something like that. Dude, for $4, it is wearing my dog out, and he's so happy.
that's awesome. That's great. How about this? What's the worst advice you see or hear being dispensed in your field?
I'll tell you the form it takes in real estate in particular. And I see this also with entrepreneurship, and I'm sure you do too. People look at their heroes and
Mhm.
say, I'm going to do what they do. And challenge is like I can look up at Amy Porterfield, who's one of the world's best marketing minds in the world. And she's running a play for marketing her course or whatever it is. But I know this because I know Amy. She's got like 25 people on her team. So if I try to run that play, I'm probably going to fail or I'm going to burn myself out and my small team out. So I think that we need to be looking for advice, right? So the problem people have is not always the advice, it's they're getting advice from the wrong source for where they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think let's be really careful and ask people very specifically advice based on where we are, not just who they are.
Mhm. Yeah, I get in trouble when I compare myself to someone who's 57 light years ahead of me. Where like I have a blog, and if I compare it to yours or Seth Godin's, I'm like, I'm never writing again because you see what you guys do, and it's just unfair. Like, I mean, that's what you do. You have such a head start. You have such experience. You have to compare yourself to who you were yesterday, to
Yes.
a degree, right? A little bit.
Yeah, and also your business is uniquely yours. There are people that are attracted to hearing from you because of exactly who you are and where you are in the journey, and just
Mhm.
learn to embrace that. I know we could go on and on about the imposter syndrome,
Mhm.
but that is absolutely true.
Yep. How about this, Jake? When you feel overwhelmed or unfocused, what do you do?
I've got two support structures. I've got my wife. I'm lucky to have a wife of 26 years who's also my best friend. I am reading a lot these days about when men who burden their women with all of the emotional support. So I'll just kind of say that I'm not that. I hope I'm not, but there's also my coach, and I also have a therapist. So I've got multiple places, but like the first places I go is I might text my coach or I might text my wife because what I want is perspective.
Mhm.
A lot of times, the fear or the anxiety that I have, all I need is someone else to look at it with me and it
Mhm.
won't feel that big.
Yeah.
And those are the first two people I go to, my coach and my wife. And I've got a couple of friends that know I don't need to name them, but they also get the occasional text like, dude, something just happened. Can we talk?
Yeah.
So I want to talk it out
Yep.
with someone who knows me and who I trust to give me their honest perspective. Because even if it's bad news, Jay, guess what? You stepped in poo poo. It's all your fault. That's fine. At least the mystery's solved. Now I just need to go apologize or fix it.
Yeah. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Two fun questions. What's the most used app on your phone?
Uh, gosh, it's probably either between the New York Times, email, or Instagram. I don't spend a jillion hours on my phone,
Yep.
but in the morning, my wife and I'll read the New York Times and we do crosswords, and so there's about a good hour of me catching up on news for work, and I'm also working the crossword with my wife. So there's a lot of time spent there. I do Instagram for fun, and then I will, between meetings, if I'm wandering around and I have like 3 minutes to kill, I sometimes will triage my email. So I know that you were asking for one, but I don't know the honest answer. It might depend on the week, but
Okay.
one of those three for sure.
Yep. Cool. Last question. Describe the rest of your life in a sentence or two.
Delivering impact through creativity.
Boom. That's it. Love it. Delivering impact through creativity, I think, is about as good as a spot as any to wrap this up. Jay, want to end this with one of your quotes from the book, which I just love. This is from the Rookie Real Estate Agent. It says, we wouldn't tell you that you could achieve your wildest dreams in real estate if we didn't know it was the truth. There are thousands of successful real estate agents who have come before you. With the right tools and dedication, you can break any barrier you thought was in your way. The guest is Jay Papasan. The book is The Rookie Real Estate Agent, available everywhere September 9th.
Yes, sir.
Oh, awesome. Jay, thank you for joining us. Jay, if people are looking for you, what you do, the one thing, your writing, your blog, your courses, where can we find you?
If you go to jpapasan.com, there's links to everything you want to know. And I think I've told you this last time. There's about 8 billion people on Earth, and there's only one Jay Papasan according to Google. So I can't hide.
Jay, thanks for joining us. It's so great to see you. What's your next project? Oh, you're so creative.
Well, I
What's coming
mean,
up?
I want to launch this,
Yeah,
and Gary's just become free after a very long hiatus from the writing room. And we spent some time today outlining the next two books. And we usually cook two up, and depending on which one comes out of research first becomes the first writing project.
awesome. Good luck with that. Hopefully, I'll have you back when you have that coming on. But Jay, wish you nothing but success. Good luck with the book, and so great to see you, my friend.
Thanks so much.